Hey, you all. Carpetbagger's Camera coming to you live from the great state of Texas, more specifically Houston, and more specifically, we're in the parking lot of the flagship Vevor store. Now, if you follow the Carpetbagger channel, you no doubt recognize that introduction, and this actually is his camera. He had an unfortunate incident with it on a previous road trip, and I offered to have a look to see if I could fix it. I figured, what better way to test it than to actually try making a video with it, see if my repairs worked. This is also my first video after falling and breaking my face about a month ago. It's also my first road trip for work since then, and I knew I was going to be here in Houston. I knew this Vevor store was opening, so I figured I would come out and give it a look, see what it's all about. I don't really know what to expect, but if I had to guess, it would be like a Harbor Freight with a wider product range. I've used some Vevor products in the past, but up until now, they've only had an online presence. This is their first brick and mortar store. So let's do a little walk and talk about where I've been and what's been going on while we check out this store. Electric rolling driveway slide gate motor. There's something I just don't need. Going into March, I was really pleased. I felt like we had some real momentum going after painting our carnival ride. I wanted to start reassembling parts and see it come together. But on March 8th, I was working on recording some footage to make a video, and due to the events of that day, it remains a video that still hasn't been released. We had beautiful weather that Sunday, and I was setting up outside to do some painting. I was carrying my camera out of the workshop when I rolled my ankle on the only step, and I went down hard, my face to the blacktop. I knew it was bad. My first thought was, you really did it now. And for the morbidly curious, here's the only security camera footage of the event. I picked myself up and had some double vision. My eyes were not both looking the same direction. So I made it into the house and I yelled out to my wife, "I've hurt myself badly and I'm bleeding," or something to that effect. She met me in the kitchen where I was hunched over at the sink, and from her vantage point, she could only see me washing my hands. It wasn't until I turned to face her that she saw the extent of my injuries, and her immediate response was, "Do you want to go to urgent care or the emergency room?" I figured x-rays might be involved, and assumed urgent care would probably just refer us to the emergency department anyways, so we went to the emergency room. Here's those famous Chinese diesel heaters. At the emergency room, they looked me over and decided I needed a CAT scan. That revealed I had fractured my left ocular socket. Basically, the bone under my eye had a roughly 3/4 inch hole in it. The ER doctor put in one stitch above my lip, gave me a tetanus shot, referred me off to a plastic surgeon, and instructed me not to blow my nose or spit forcefully, whatever that means. It's truly amazing that somehow I didn't break my nose or any teeth. Replacement pool liners? I followed up with the surgeon and a date was set for March 23rd. Until then I was off work and taking a limited amount of painkillers. I'm sure the pain would have been much worse, but the fall shut down the nerve that handles the left side of my face, so the majority of the area was numb. Incidentally, part of my cheek and nose are still numb, but I'm told that feeling should return as the nerve settles down. The nerve wasn't severed, just really angry about the whole affair. Monday the 23rd, I went to the hospital where they prepped me with an IV and a really fashionable gown and rolled me back to the operating room. By the day of the surgery, I was actually looking pretty much back to normal. The cuts and bruises had all healed, but I'm told the long-term issue with this break was the eye slowly sinking into my skull, so surgical intervention was called for. I knew that meant I would be waking up looking worse than when I went in. Here we go, frozen drink machines. I've only had a handful of procedures in my life that require general anesthesia, and each time they've always told me, "Okay, time to go to sleep," or something like that. This time there was no warning. Next thing I know, I'm waking up in the recovery room. Now I'll spare you the details how the surgeon performs this repair. It makes me squeamish just thinking about it, but you can look it up if you're so inclined. To my understanding, it involves spackling the area shut with a medical form of plaster of Paris, and that'll be absorbed by my body and replaced with bone over time. The squeamish part for me is how they get it in there. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was kind of out of it from the time of the accident up until about a week after the surgery. It didn't help that I caught what was probably one of the worst colds of my life while I was recovering. My nose was running so badly that for a while I was legitimately concerned that I was allergic to the material they put into my head. A few days later, those symptoms cleared up, and I assume it was just some bug I picked up at the hospital. They keep a lot of sick folks there. Honestly, I'm really just now starting to feel back to normal from the whole thing. I had a follow-up with the surgeon, and he and I are pretty happy with how it's healing. I've got one more follow-up visit with him, and hopefully things will continue to improve. There's still some swelling around my eye that is making my lower eyelid a bit droopy, but given the size of the hole in my skull, I think he did a pretty good job. There's an oddly specific item, an electric honey extractor. Commercial waffle maker. I am starting to get a little hungry. Electric meat bandsaw. For all your electric meat. It's a vinyl cutter. There's a fabric cutter. Heat press. It's a big one. I actually tried ordering one of these online, and for some reason the order got canceled. I would like a new vacuum pump, but I don't think I can take this home on the plane with me. Could actually use one of those for a garden tractor, but that seems a bit much. A little bit over the top. This is more like it, but I don't need a 2-pack. PTO shafts. Toolboxes. Luggage rack. Cargo rack. Whole restaurant pager system. Laser level. That's interesting. Wish they had one open. That is a massive set of impact sockets. So you guys, much smaller than I anticipated. Well, I didn't have any expectations, but yet still that was pretty much exactly what I expected. But what a marvelous mishmash of merchandise in there. I was impressed by how unusual some of the items were, but I didn't buy anything. I'm actually trying to save some money. It's another reason I'm on this road trip for work, and I'm going to be doing a few more of these, trying to earn a little extra cash because we have plans this summer to put up a new workshop, a big enough one that I can pull rides inside and work on them no matter what the weather is outside, and I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to that. But that's all a story for another video, so if you don't want to miss hearing about that, click that link to the left and come along for the ride.